Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Orange Spirits, and I'm here to give you a word on tonight. And man, this word here, some people choose the throne over their grandkids. Now, this woman here, she chose her throne over, and it wasn't her throne. She just wanted to kill everyone so she can get the throne. you know, and this is Ahab and Jezebel daughter. So she took every image of them, you know. So the name of it gonna be Athaliah and Josh, that's the boy, and she was evil and ambitious, you know, willing to do anything to get that throne. So this story about Athaliah was a queen, and a daughter of Ahab and the queen of Jezebel. So she was the wife of King Jehoram. Both of them, both of her parents are dead. So Angelina was the only woman ever to have a reign over Judah and Israel. Because you remember Jezebel wasn't a king over Israel; it was her husband Ahab was the king over Israel. So Angelina, she learned a lot from her parents. She learned evenness from her parents. But the rudeness that she displayed. So she was pretty much the image of her parents. So Angelina is a grandmother, but she had to choose between her grandchildren and the assuming of the throne. And Angelina, she would not know. She would not. She had so many grandkids. She didn't even know how many grandkids she had. You know, so she was evil. She was ambitious, and all she wanted was the throne. And everybody had to get out of her way to get it. So this story will be coming from Second King, chapter 11, verse 1 to 21. Now, Angelina was the mother of Israel, and she saw her son David. And now she's seeing her son David. So now she angry. She want to proceed and destroy everyone in the household, including her grandkids was in the household. She want to kill everyone in that household, and she just started being evil and vicious, and that's when she started thinking about the throne. Since her son is dead, all kind of evilness is coming in her mind. So the royalty family, which is the bloodline of David. So now Angelina wants to kill the whole family and her grandkids, but she would not know how many grandkids she had. So her husband and the sister, you know, of Azal took Josh. That's one of the grandkids. It was a lie. She killed them all, but she didn't realize she had one left. The nurse, the two sister grabbed the boy, but they give it to the nurse to hide and take care of the boy until everything was clear. So both of the sisters took Josh, and she saw her son dead, and the son would still be alive. So they took Josh, who was about to be murdered, and she put him in the nurse's arms in the bedroom, so she could hide. So he was not killed, from his grandmother. The nurse, they hid him and they took care of him. So he remained hidden with his nurse at the temple for 6 years. Now he been hidden for 6 years. So God gonna hide you until the time is right, until everything is clear. You remember what he did with Jesus when Jesus was a baby. They had Mary and Joseph had to keep going here, had to keep going there, because they had this one man just kept on wanting to kill. He wanted to kill all the babies because he was trying to find Jesus. So they had to keep on running until everything was safe. And so he had Mary and Joseph safe until that one person was. See, God always got to move the enemy out the way in order for you to be safe. So when he got moved out the way, then Mary and Joseph and the baby were able to live a normal life until Jesus got grown. So he remained hidden with his nurse at the temple for 6 years, while she was ruling the land. Remember, she was a queen and she was a king. She was a king over the land. So while she doing all that, then realized the ball was right under her nose. Right under her nose. He was hidden for 6 years. So Angelina wanted the throne. So she was evil and ambition after she saw her son dead. So she started thinking of all kind of evilness that she wanted to do. So she like, I want the throne. And for her to get the throne, she had to move everybody out the way to get the throne. So she murdered all her grandkids, nearly destroyed the family line of David, except one, because she never knew how many grandkids she had. So they got this one boy. It's still out there alive. It's her grandchild. You're gonna see at the end what's gonna happen. So now this little boy is 7 years old now. So the boy is Josh, and he is 7 years old now. Now God wants to bring him out. See, God hides you for a while until everything is clear. Now everything's clear. So now God ready to bring this boy out. Because God got a plan for this boy's life. So that's what God had him hid. See, God will protect you. If you in part of God's plan. So this boy in part of God's plan, because something exciting gonna happen to him at the end. So God will hide you, bring you out when the time is right. He know when the time is right. So before God showed this boy to anyone, he made a covenant with them and put them under oath at the temple of the Lord. So then he showed them the king's son. He showed them who is the king. So first God had to make a covenant with them first. Before he showed this boy to them. Remember, they thought all the everyone in the house, they thought everyone was there. So God had this one little baby was hidden, and now he's 7 years old now. So he made a covenant with them first before he showed them this boy. So God commanded them first, you who are in the other two companies that normally go off on the Sabbath day, do this all to guard the temple for the king. So now he's setting up. He's setting up guards at all the gates. Protect this little boy that about to be king. This boy about to be king, and he was hit. His own grandmother killed. All his brothers and sisters killed everyone. And this nurse hid this boy. Now this boy about to be king at 7 years old. Now they station out all the guards at all the gates, and it's on Saturday, So now he says station yourself, around the king, each of you with weapon. See, they're trying to protect this boy, because remember, this lady here, this lady killed all the rest of her grandkids. And this the one is still alive. So God got a plan for this boy's life. So that's why God is planting all these guards at this gate. He said, not only stand at this gate, y'all stand at this gate with weapon. So anybody get close, he said, draw the sword on. Because this lady is dangerous. When this lady see this boy still alive, no telling what she'll do. So God preparing and having all these guards at the gate, make sure they got weapons and everything, because God about to bring this boy out. And this boy have to be protected, because God got a plan for this boy's life. So he said, y'all station yourself, station yourself around this around the king. This boy is the king. Each of you with a weapon, in your hand. So anyone who approach you, put them to death. That's what God said. He said, stay close to the king wherever he go. Because his grandmother is dangerous. She's very dangerous, so they got to protect this boy. They done hid him for 7 years. So they don't want him to be dead after 7 years after they done hid him all this long time. So all these guards at all these different gates, they got to have weapons. The God said, if anybody approach y'all, put them to death. So now we see. So now we see the 7-year-old boy Joshua. He is alive, and God making him king, and God is protecting him. He put. How God will camp angels all around you. God had camp all these guards around. And he said, make sure y'all stand all around him. Stand all around him with weapons. Because his grandmother is very dangerous. She killed everyone. And she didn't know how many grandkids she had. She didn't even notice that one grandchild was still alive. She did not notice one was still alive. Because she didn't know how many grandkids she had. If she would have known how many grandkids she had, she would have known how many she killed and one was still alive. So we see the boy Josh is king, and he are being protected. They have to stay around him at all times with weapons. So he also said, whoever come close, kill him. Stay close wherever he go. He is 7 years old and he is the king. And they're protecting his boy from his own grandmother because his own grandmother is dangerous. Now they brought out the king, and put the crown on his head. This boy is 7 years old. He got the throne now. Now she done killed all her grandkids for the throne. And now she don't even have the throne. The throne is on top of her other grandchild head that she thought she killed them all. Now he got the throne. He got the crown. You see what I'm saying? He is the king. When she went through all that trouble, and she don't even have the king, she don't have the throne, she don't have the crown, she don't have everything because it don't pay us to be so evil and ambitious. So they put the crown on his head. They represent him, with a copy of the covenant. They made a covenant with God, and God got to have everything right. Everything got to be straight. So they proclaim him king. They proclaim him king and they anoint him. And the people was clapping, they was excited, shouting, dancing around because they was happy that this little boy was still alive, able to be the king, able to have that crown, able to have that throne. These people was happy that this boy is still alive, and not only still alive, that he have the throne. He is the king. So this boy is 7 years old. This boy been hit. He been hidden and taken care of by a nurse for 7 years. This nurse kept him safe. So God always, knowing the right time to set you out, to have you to come out. So they represent him, the king, as the king to all the people. And now they are so happy, so happy. They clapping hands. They're shouting. They're so happy that this boy is still alive. And he also is the king. So they're making all kind of noise, so they're making a whole lot of noise. They're making shouting. So Angelina, she had to peep out to see what all this noise is about. So now she come out, she hear the noise, she see the guards, the people, everyone shouting and dancing and clapping. So soon as she said she looked and she saw her grandchild, it was enraged. She started hollering his name out. How she know his name? She didn't even know that she had a grandchild still alive. She hollered his name out. She was in so much a rage. So she woke up hearing the people making all kind of noise, clapping and cheering this boy on. So the boss was all around, all the people was around the boss, so she couldn't see him at first. So when she got close to them and seen the boy, was her grandchild, she was enraged. She started hollering his name out, Trenton. So now she's seeing all this, that Adelita was in outrage, the sight of her just to see the sight of her grandchild. Instead of her being, this is a grandmother that's don't have love for her grandkids, for to see your grandchild, you're supposed to be happy, but she was in outrage because she was not happy. She thought he was gone. So she's seeing her grandson being a king. When she thought she killed him, that's evil. And she had no support. All the people that was surrounding this boy, they were not supporting her. They were supporting the boy. They all was around the boy, supporting the boy, happy and shouting for him. Angelina told her role. She called out his name, you know, and then the priest ordered and command order to have her dead. And there was in a temple. So they said they didn't want to kill her in the temple. They said, oh no, we're gonna take her outside. We're not gonna do this up in here. So they took her out the temple to slay her. You know, um, so they brought her outside to slay her. And they said whoever follow her gonna be dead too. Cause a lot of them were scared of her. She was the queen. So they took her out to slay her, and they said whoever followed her, they was gonna be dead too. So now they in the temple, but he said, take her outside. They did not want to kill her inside the temple. They said take her out and kill her outside the temple. So they took her outside and they put her to death. you know, and then there was no one to follow her because anyone follow her was going to get the same thing. So now Angelina is dead. She outside the temple. And remember, she took after her parents. She took after her parents, worshiping other gods and all kind of image. And she was worshiping, doing the same thing her parents was doing. So all the people, after she was dead, all the people went to the land. They went to the temple of Abraham and they tore everything down. They didn't want to do all that. They were scared of her because she was the queen and she was bossy. So after she was dead, then when they tore all that stuff down, they smashed it up, crushed it up, tore it up into pieces, and they threw all of it away. And then they won't worship none of that stuff no more. So now the priests posted gods at the temple of the Lord. So they wanted Angelina wanted the throne, but she didn't want no one to live to receive it. So she had to kill everyone for her own self to receive the throne. But we see it backfire on her, and it did not work out because she left a child out. Now he received the throne. He is the king. He received the crown. So now she chose the throne over her grandkids. And one of the grandkids was still alive, and he had the throne. So they placed a guard at every gate and then brought the king down. So they ready to bring him down. Then they treating him like a master. They treating him like a king, a master, and everything else. They got him protected, because they got protected. They have guards at all the gates. So they placed a guard at every gate, and they brought the king down from the temple of the Lord and went into the palace, entering by the way of the gate. So now the king then look, they took his place. So the king then took his place as the royal throne. Now the grandmother went through all that trouble. And who got the crown? Her grandchild that she left alive, that she didn't know was left alive. The king then took his place as the royal throne. So we see the baby Josh, that's 7 years old. He have the throne. He have the crown. He have the position. And we see the grandmother that went through all the trouble to get that throne is now dead. Now, so all the people are happy. They happy. They calm, because she is dead now. She had them doing all that wicked stuff, serving all kind of worshiping other gods and stuff. She had evil, and she was very ambitious. So now the boy is 7 years old. He is the king. So Angelina saw that her son was dead. She just so her son was dead. So then evilness to start being in her mind, trying to figure out what she gonna do. So she placed evil in her she started being evil and ambition. So the evilness started being in her mind. What's she gonna do next? So she wanted to kill everyone in the house, even her grandkids. So folks, she wanted the throne and chose it over her grandkids. Why? She did not know how many grandkids she had, because she left one out, and the baby Josh become to be the king with the throne. So six, we see the nurse hid him until he was 7 years old. And then God was ready to represent him to all the people. So seven, God knew the right time, and to represent him to the people. They would start dancing and shouting. And then when she walked up and saw that that was her grandchild, she was in outrage. So nine, they ordered to kill her, not in the temple, but they took her outside and slay her. 11. 10. All the people was called after she was dead. They started tearing down all the baby now, tore it down, smashed it up, tore it all into pieces. They couldn't wait for her to be gone and tear all that stuff up. So now Angelina was evil, ambitious, and she wanted the throne over her grandkids. But you see how the tables turn. The table can always turn once God is involved. She was even ambitious, but the table turned. Thought she killed all her grandkids, but God loved one out. Because God heard up and put it in their heart, y'all take this child. I need y'all to hide this child. They hide this child. Both of the sisters took the baby and they give it to the nurse, the head, and take care of and they took good care of him. And he was hidden right under her nose while she still being the king over the land. The boy was hidden right under her nose in the temple, until he was 7 years old. And then God said, oh, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to represent him to all the people now. I'm ready to make him king. I'm ready to put that crown on his head. So she went through all that trouble, for the throne, killing all her grandkids. And one of her grandkids still got that throne. So you can't be evil and ambition because tables can't turn. So she took the evilness from her parents. Her parent was Ahab and Jezebel. God had a plan for Ahab to be dead because he threatened Elijah to flee, and then he killed a whole lot of prophets. And after he was dead, I put that out yesterday with Jezebel. She was dead because they threw her out the window. So now she had both of her parents dead, but she took the evilness from them. Both of her parents dead, and then she was the image of them. So this story about an evil woman. You know, she wanted power. Sometimes people go to so much extreme to have that power. So she wanted that power. She was ambitious for that power. Even if it meant killing all her grandkids, she just had to have that power. So don't have so much power and be so greedy over the power that you will choose everything that you love for that power. And that's what she did. But then a table turned, and one of her grandkids still was the king, got the crown on his head, that he be able to be the king over the land. He got the throne. You know, so all that hard work she did, it backfired on her. She was so ambitious over power. So that's all the word I have for you on today. Y'all have a blessed night, and I see y'all in the next video.